Now, fourth down is year-round. Sunday at 10:35.
Championships.
LSU and Wichita State are no strangers to the national championship. 2 years ago, the Tigers shocked the Shockers for their first College World Series title. This year, head coach Gene Stevenson's 7th-seeded Shockers look to ride the explosive bat and the powerful right arm of Darren Dreifert, the second pick in this year's Major League Baseball draft. Defense and determination have keyed their undefeated romp through the College World Series and has put them in position for a second title in the last 5 seasons. LSU's 3 victories in the 1993 series have come in an entirely different manner. The Tigers exploded in their series opener on the strength of 2 Jim Greeley home runs, but had to rally in every game since. Diving catches and dramatic home runs by All-American second baseman Todd Walker set the scene for yesterday's emotional 9th inning, when Walker's heroics propelled the Tigers into today's championship game. And the fortunes fall to 2 freshmen. Travis Wyckoff for Wichita State and Brent Laxton for the Tigers will duel for the title. This is Johnny Rosenblatt Stadium, and under threatening skies this afternoon, we are looking to declare a National Collegiate Baseball champion. This is the championship game of the College World Series. It'll be either the Shockers of Wichita State or the Tigers of LSU. Threatening skies, threatening forecast. Indeed, the temperature is in the low 70s, but it is cloudy, and there is a 40% chance of rain before the day is done. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Omaha, Nebraska, and to the championship game of the College World Series. I'm Greg Gumbel, and what a College World Series it has been. 13 games played thus far in the World Series, and 9 times there has been a come-from-behind winner. In 7 of those games, the come-from-behind rally has occurred in the 7th inning or later in the game. 2 fine teams here this afternoon, Wichita State and the Bayou Bengals of LSU. Wichita State is undefeated. They beat Arizona State, Texas, and Oklahoma State to get here, while LSU defeated Long Beach State 2 out of 3 times they played, and also knocks off Texas A&M. With me in the booth this afternoon, as usual, is Jim Cott. Jim, we've got one of those classic matchups. Great pitching against a great hitting team. The hitting team is LSU, with an All-American second baseman leading the way.
And a great atmosphere. You could see the emotion from yesterday's great come-from-behind win. And when you think come-from-behind wins, you usually think home runs. Nobody can do it better than LSU, and they are led by sophomore All-American Todd Walker. He's leading the College World Series in RBIs. He has 21 home runs this year. LSU does not play particularly good on defense, but they'll beat you with a long ball. Now, how do you combat the long ball? Good pitching. There has never been a team in College World Series history that can throw 2 right-hand relief pitchers at you like the Shockers can. We've heard about Darren Dreifert, but how about Jamie Bluma? You might see him at the end of the game with that good hard slider. He's never been scored on in NCAA postseason play.
Jim, we've got 2 great relievers working with us along the sidelines this afternoon here at Rosenblatt Stadium. Leslie Visser and former University of Miami head baseball coach Ron Frazier. Let's go down to them now. Leslie.
Greg, well, as a starter, Ron Frazier won 2 titles, so he knows how to bring a championship home. Ron, what about Wichita State? They've struggled at the plate, but they've been solid, both the pitching and the defense. What do they have to do?
Well, they have. Pitching is the key with Wichita State. You know, they're looking at a 4 or 5 inning ball game. Their guy, Travis Wyckoff, has to go, and he has to pitch 4 or 5 good innings to get to the great relief pitchers, the best in college baseball, with Dreifert and Bloom. and this is what they've got to do.
Considered one of the best bullpens in college history.
It is the best bullpen in the college.
What about for LSU? They're no Cinderella here. What is Skip Bertman looking for?
Well, Skip has to score early. He has to get some runs off their freshmen. He's got a freshman going for him, so he's got to get some runs early. And, you know, they've got to play good defensive baseball. They had a bad day yesterday. They won the ball game. And I think, but the thing that they do have, they have momentum. They played a great ball game yesterday. They came from behind, so they got to carry that momentum through the championship.
Well, both these schools are looking to win a second title. Should be a great one. Greg?
It should indeed. Leslie, thank you. Two freshmen will go to the mound for their respective teams today. Travis Wyckoff for the Shockers, Brett Laxton for LSU. We'll take a timeout here, and then we'll start this championship afternoon with the starting lineups and the opening pitch.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1993 College World Series Championship game is sponsored by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Pringles, so fresh, once you pop, you can't stop. And by Charles Schwab and Company, helping investors help themselves.
Back in Omaha, the starting lineup for the Shockers of Wichita State. Junior right fielder Carl Hall will lead off. He's followed by sophomore shortstop Jason Adams. The number 3 hitter for Gene Stevenson is sophomore center fielder Richie Taylor. The cleanup hitter, big junior first baseman Toby Smith. In the number 5 spot, you will probably see him in relief along the way, the designated hitter Darren Dreifert. Hitting 6th is second baseman Joey Jackson. At third base, the freshman Casey Blake with some key hits in this World Series for the Shockers. Senior left fielder Tommy Tilma bats 8th, and the catcher is freshman Adam McCullough. On the mound, Travis Wyckoff, freshman left-hand. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Louisiana State's Brett Laxton. We'll get to
He'll be there at the bottom of the inning, but Brett Laxton has to try to get the Shockers out first. A freshman, power pitcher, good numbers, but Skip Bertman will have him on about 110 pitch count limit. So that'll determine how far into the game he'll go.
Here's Carl Hall to lead it off. And he takes a called strike, and we are underway. Hall, a .321 hitter on the year, just 2 of 13 so far in the College World Series. And the count is even at a ball and a strike. Down and in, and it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count on the leadoff man. There is head coach, or the head coach for the LSU Tigers is Skip Bertman.
He'll send those signals in to his catcher, Adrian Antonini.
That's fouled off, and the count is even at 2-2. Is a junior from Hayesville, Kansas. Strike 3 call.
Let's quickly take a look at the Tigers in the field. They have not played well this year. Greeley in left, Jim Greeley. Armando Rios is the center fielder, and Harry Barrios in right. Around the infield, it's Jason Williams at third, Russ Johnson at short, All-American Todd Walker, the second baseman, and Kenny Jackson at first. Strong throwing Adrian Antonini behind the plate.
Called strike to sophomore shortstop Jason Adams. .319 hitter on the year, and 5 of 12 in the College World Series. This one grounded foul up the third baseline, and Gene Stevenson with the pickup. 0-2.
Saw the strikeout on a 2-2 count from Laxton. And that is a key, according to his coach, Skip Bertman. He goes to a lot of deep counts, and with that pitch count limit of 110, oftentimes about 5 innings is all you get out of Laxton, and that puts a little more pressure on their bullpen.
0-2 pitch. That's close. In fact, you might say that looked like a College World Series strike.
Sounded like a strike. Got a left-hander's cap. Left-handers usually have that thing tilted one way.
That one foul tip and held on to by Antonini behind the plate. 2 hitters and 2 strikeouts for Laxton. LSU, the champion of the Western bracket, took 2 out of 3 from Long Beach, including a thriller here yesterday afternoon. And in the East, Wichita State went undefeated in 3 games.
And for those that do not follow the College World Series on a regular basis, you'll immediately notice that LSU has had to play 5 games to get here, and Wichita State only 3, so they're well rested, the Shockers.
Ball 1 to Richie Taylor, the center fielder, also from Hayesville, Kansas. And he too struggling here in Omaha with just 1 for 12. Fouled off. Yesterday's game between LSU and Long Beach. The Long Beach State 49ers scored 2 to take a 5-3 lead. LSU came back with 3 in the bottom of the 9th to win it and qualify for this afternoon's game.
That was a great game to watch. You know, the games have not been particularly well played as far as mistake-free, but they have been so exciting, and you don't want to leave early.
Not the way these games have gone. 1-2 pitch. Hit towards short. Johnson. And Wichita State goes in order in the top of the first. We'll go to the last of the first inning. LSU coming to the plate for the first time. Starting lineup for the Tigers of LSU. Freshman third baseman Jason Williams will bat first, and then the center fielder Armando Rios. In the number 3 spot is shortstop Russ Johnson, and then the All-American second baseman Todd Walker batting cleanup. Harry Berrios is the number 5 hitter. He's the right fielder. Designated hitter Mike Neal bats 6th. Senior left fielder Jim Greeley is the number 7 man, followed by catcher Adrian Antonini and first baseman Kenny Jackson. And Travis Wyckoff is the man on the mound for Wichita State.
Not a particularly hard thrower, left-handed freshman. You see his numbers throughout the year, and we've of course put the emphasis on their bullpen, and if Gene Stevenson could get 3 or 4 effective innings out of Wyckoff with that change of speeds and keep the game close, he'd be happy.
Here's Jason Williams. Ball strike 1. Williams hitting 188 here in Omaha. A 329 hitter on the year with a couple of home runs and 33 runs batted in. That misses, and it's 1-1. Had a tough day down at third base against Long Beach yesterday, and a critical error which allowed Long Beach to go ahead, but also drew a pretty key base on balls in the bottom of the 9th inning to set up that rally. 1-1 pitch. Fouled off.
They are the kind of team that, as position players, they hope they can drive in more than they let in, because they're not proud of it, but it is a fact. They have set a school record for the most errors made at LSU, but some of that home run power they have can overcome their deficiencies in the field.
9 errors by the Tigers here in Omaha. 1-2 pitch. That one stays outside. Travis Wyckoff will throw a little bit of everything, and he will also throw a knuckle curve. One down and in, and the count is full now at 3-2. Umpire for today's game, we have 6 of them. Jim Garman is working behind the plate. Don January at first, Ron Graham at second, Tom Jenkins at third, Tony Thompson down the left field line, and Bill LaRue down the right field line. This one hit down the right field line, right at LaRue, and it's falling, and it's foul.
We've talked about the LSU Tigers having to play 5 games to get here, and Wichita State only 3, and what that helps, of course, is your pitching rotation. As a result of that, we're seeing freshman Brett Laxton pitch for the Tigers today, but they have really depended on senior left-hander Mike Sorotka. Complete game win yesterday. He's a cheerleader today, but he's one of the big reasons they're here.
Full count pitch to Williams. This one hit into right center field. Taylor on the run. And that's out number 1. Told you that Travis Wyckoff throws that knuckle curve, and yesterday I had a chance to ask him about it.
Went to camp about 4 years ago here at WSU, and Tyler Green was working the camp. former player here, and he taught me how to throw it, and I just fiddled around with it, and it became one of my pitches.
Okay, if it's working for you, what'll it do?
Drop and slide at the same time, a little bit of both.
And what'll it do if it isn't working for you?
Hang and then go out that way.
It's about as honest as a pitcher can get, isn't it?
That's right. Rub up a new one and go to your local chiropractor. You get that whiplash in your neck if it isn't sinking and darting. That Tyler Green he referred to as a #1 pick of the Phillies and has already pitched some baseball in the major leagues coming out of Wichita State.
0-1 the count on Armando Rios, and he hits this one toward Adams at short. 2 up and 2 gone for the Tigers. Here at Rosenblatt Stadium, same distance down the left field and right field lines, 332, 408 to straightaway center, and 360 up the power alleys in left center and right center.
To correct that games played, this is the 5th game for LSU. They have played 4 to get here, but they've had to use Sorotka twice, otherwise he'd be pitching the championship game.
Here's Russ Johnson. 6 out of 15 here in Omaha, 400 batting average as he steps to the plate here in the College World Series. And is riding a 13-game hitting streak. Good look at Wyckoff.
If you've followed college baseball, particularly LSU, if the name Denham Springs, Louisiana means anything, well, that's the home of Ben McDonald. Probably the best pitcher in LSU history, #1 pick of the Orioles a few years ago. Russ Johnson is from that same high school.
That misses outside, and the count now is 3-0 to Johnson. And that's called strike 3-1. Johnson has hit 1 home run and has 2 RBIs in this College World Series so far, and has been particularly adept at drawing bases on balls. And he now has 6. That's the most of any player here in Omaha.
Talk about the rules differences, the college game and the pro game. Aluminum bats are permitted. Doesn't mean you cannot use a wood bat, but they are permitted. No roll blocks, no knocking over the second baseman on a rolling block at second. Double ear flaps are required, and absolutely no tobacco products allowed on the playing field.
Cleanup hitter Todd Walker. Strike call. Todd Walker snapped out of a 1-for-11 slump here in Omaha in a big way yesterday with a 4-for-5 afternoon, including a home run and the game-winning hit in the bottom of the 9th inning.
There's something about left-handers swings. You don't often hear anybody say sweet swinging right-hand hitter, but you remember sweet swinging Billy Williams from Whistler, Alabama, Hall of Famer from the cut. Lefties have that nice, smooth, rhythmic swing, and this kid's got one. Just a sophomore. He'll be back again next year and probably will be a high draft pick after his junior year.
0-1 pitch. 0-2 now. Probably the biggest surprise and the biggest question asked after yesterday's ball game was why Long Beach elected to pitch to Todd Walker. The Tigers had runners at first and third, and there are those who suggested that with Walker carrying the hot bat that you load up the bases and pitch to anyone but him.
Of course, Dave Snow, the head coach for Long Beach State, had used Gabe Gonzalez to close out the game in the win before that, so he had confidence in lefty versus lefty, and I don't think you want to bring a fresh pitcher in at the college level with the pressure of pitching bases loaded game-winning situation. And I think that factored into the decision more than actually the situation on the field.
0-2 pitch. That's up high, 1-2. No one has more runs batted in than Todd Walker here in Omaha. Jim Greeley, his teammate, has 7, and Armando Rios with 6, and then the freshman third baseman for the Shockers, Casey Blake, right up there with 7 runs batted in. 1-2 pitch. Hit deep to right field. This one is gonna go. Third home run of this College World Series. 11th run batted in for Todd Walker, and LSU leads it 2-0. Talk about a sweet swing.
Look at this swing from the sidearm breaking ball, and Wyckoff leaves it over the middle of the plate. Walker immediately into his trot. He can hit righties or lefties, and this is exactly what LSU wanted to do. Try to open up a few runs early and take Dreifert and Bluma out of the game.
Here's right fielder Harry Berrios. That's ball one. What did we hear Mr. Wyckoff say about leaving that knuckle curve?
That's where it goes.
There?
Yeah. Well, most of the home runs, we've talked about so many of them in the College World Series, I'll guarantee you 90% of them are on hanging breaking balls.
This one headed for right field. The diving attempt by Jackson. He knocks it down but can't make the play, and that'll go as a base hit. 26th home run. Ties a record for most home runs hit here in Omaha this trip in.
Nice job by Jackson to knock it down, but the turf a little roughed up with the tarp being on and a lot of the rain we've had here in Omaha. That's the best he could do with it.
Here's the designated hitter, Mike Neal. Runner at first and 2 down, and LSU leading it 2-0 on the 2-run homer by Todd Walker. Neal hitting .333 here in Omaha. Towards short. Adams, the flip to Jackson, and that'll do it, but not before the Bengal Tigers get 2. And we'll return to Rosenblatt Stadium after this message and a word from your local station.
Starter 4.
At the beginning of our broadcast today, you heard Ron Frazier talking about how important it would be for the team to score first. For the last 8 College World Championship games, the team that scored first has won the title.
Good sign for LSU, not for the Shockers, and you compound that because Wichita State does not have as much comeback home run power. The 2 guys coming up this inning represent most of their power.
This is Toby Smith. He'll be followed by Darren Dreifert and Joey Jackson. Smith, the junior first baseman and the cleanup hitter. He gives a big strike zone. Freshman Brett Laxton on the mound. Took a little something off of that, and it's 0-2.
The reason I mentioned that left-hander's cap, we talk often about how the left-handers wear their caps a little cockeyed. Well, see, it might be because of genetics. His dad, Bill Laxton, was a left-hand pitcher, and he put about 5 or 6 years in the big leagues, so he probably started wearing it looking at his dad's picture.
And he gets Smith waving at one that dances outside the strike zone. Chalk up another strikeout for Laxton. That's 3 in the game.
Well, he was drafted out of high school. The pro scouts liked him. He wanted to go to college, and you can see the power stuff that can really paralyze these right-hand hitters. Live fastball and a good quick breaking ball.
Here's Darren Dreifert, number 2 selection in the baseball draft last week by the Los Angeles Dodgers. Native of Wichita, Kansas. That's ball 1, and what a performance he put on in batting practice. He had the crowd oohing and eyeing and then applauding as he stepped out of the batting cage. One and one. That's quite a who's who in college baseball, isn't it?
A lot of top draft picks in there. Brooks Kieschnick from Texas, Player of the Year.
Todd Walker there from LSU. 1-1 pitch to Dryford. 2-1.
You mentioned the power display that Darren Dryford put on. We think of basketball and football as zeroing in on one man being so important to a team's success. In baseball, you usually spread it around, but I doubt there is any one single player that can be responsible for wins for a team more than Darren Dryford, both hitting and pitching.
Swung a bit late on that, and the count is even now at 2-2. 3 for 11 here in Omaha with 2 home runs and 3 runs batted in. 22 home runs on the year. Two-two pitch. Misses outside, and the count is full.
Hitters will usually tell you where they like the ball, and you could see Dryford. No fear of the baseball. He's kind of leaning out over that inside part of the plate, and Laxton leaves anything from the middle of the plate in. He's got pull power.
Full count pitch. Held up. Ball 4. So Dryford is on, and here's Joey Jackson, the Shockers' second baseman. Wichita State not at all surprised at being down, because this is now the 9th time in 13 postseason games that the Shockers have find themselves trailing their opponent. Nice stop behind the plate.
Gene Stevenson, the Wichita State head coach, has said we make it exciting win or lose, and primarily because they're just happy to be here, the old saying. They did not anticipate having this strong a team. They lost a lot of their regulars, so they're playing a lot of inexperienced players this year.
This one hits straight up on the infield. Coming down the line, Kenny Jackson makes the call in fair territory for the second out of the inning. Dryford holds at first, and it'll bring up freshman third baseman Casey Blake. Pepperdine, the winner last year. LSU beat Wichita State in '91. Georgia won it in '90, and Wichita State in '89.
And that represents the start of the 2-bracket system, starting with 1988. Before that, it was double elimination throughout. Just one format.
This one lined into left field. Greeley coming on, had it and dropped it. Dryford will make the turn and hold at second base. And we'll wait for the official scorer's ruling.
I don't think it'll take long to call that one. Again, this has been the weakness. You see Jim Greeley gets that glove over on the wrong side. He's got to cross over with his glove and the heel up. Never got in good position to field that ball, and that's why the Tigers say, yeah, we'll kick it around and give you a couple. We just hope we can hit enough home runs to make up for it.
It'll go as an error on Greeley in left. That makes it 2 on and 2 out here in the top of the second inning, and left fielder Tommy Tilma. Strike 1. Tilma still looking for his first RBI here in Omaha. Dryford is the runner at second. Blake is on at first. Count is even now 1-1. Wichita State does not run much. In fact, has just 1 stolen base in 1 attempt in this College World Series. And that was leadoff man Carl Hall. Tilma looked like he chased one out of the strike zone there, and it's 1-2.
Even though he's a freshman, Brett Laxton, he's pitched some championship games before on the high school and American Legion baseball level, so he's accustomed to this kind of pressure, and you can see how pumped up he is and the power he's got.
Two balls and 2 strikes now.
Of course, that error on Greeley has now made him throw an additional 4 pitches. Say he ends up throwing another half a dozen pitches this inning. That means that Skip Burton, he's not going to abuse this freshman. He's pitched a lot of baseball last summer and this fall and this season. So he's very, very diligent with that pitch count.
2-2 to Tillman. Got him swinging. Fourth strikeout for Laxton. The Shockers strand 2. And after 1.5, it's LSU leading it 2-0.
Why do people?
Back at Rosenblatt Stadium at the College World Series, you know, at Wimbledon or the Final Four, teams or people like to be seeded #1. Well, that isn't the case here in Omaha. Since they started seeding the College World Series in 1988, no #1 team has won the title. In fact, only teams that are seeded 4th or 7th have taken the title home. Last year, Pepperdine was seeded 7th. Who's seeded 7th this year? Wichita State. Back to you, Greg.
It's kind of like the NBA draft. If you're the worst basketball team in the league, you don't get that #1 pick.
And LSU comes in as a #5 seed.
Here's Jim Greeley, who has had himself a monster World Series so far. Those are his numbers on the season. But he's the second leading hitter here in Omaha with that .467 batting average. Called strike 1-1.
These two teams met in the '91 championship game, and again it was home run power. That time it was LSU catcher Gary Emal that provided all the power.
Who is that?
It's not Gary Emal.
Outside 2-1. Really trails only Jeff Leifer, who left with Long Beach yesterday in the hitting department. 2-1 pitch. Inside and low, ball 3.
Not as much pressure on these two coaches. They have both, Skip Bertman and Gene Stevenson, have been here a number of times, and they have finally won the overall championship. For example, Gary Ward from Oklahoma State has come here 9 times and is still trying to win his first.
Full count now.
As we looked at Long Beach State's game yesterday, that's why they were a bit of a Cinderella team. You know, Dave Snow has taken that program from nothing, where they didn't even have a practice field, to almost getting to the College World Series final. That would have been some story.
That misses, and Greeley's on base. Second base on ball is given up by Wyckoff, and the first one preceded Todd Walker's home run. Long Beach 49ers staying in the same hotel we were, and we saw them trooping back into the hotel yesterday. A downtrodden, disheartened bunch.
An emotional game yesterday for both teams.
Antonini squaring around and takes ball 1. Let's go down to Ron Frazier. Coach?
Well, you know, it looks like Wyckoff is throwing about a 1.6 release, and which is pretty slow. And I look for a lot of running. If LSU can get some people on base, I see them running. In fact, in a situation here would be a pretty good run in situation.
And the reason Ron points out, when he says 1.6, that means from the time Travis Wyckoff moves his hands, movement to mitt, 1.6 seconds. And that gives a base runner a little better jump. You'd like to keep it down about 1-1, 1-2.
Wyckoff to first. As we said, there hasn't been much running by either of these clubs here in Omaha. LSU is 3 out of 5 in the stolen base department.
Well, and Antonini's strength is behind the plate as a catcher and thrower, not a particularly good hitter. So again, as Ron Frazier pointed out, it's an ideal situation to bunt or hit and run and stay out of the double play.
There goes the runner. That's down and in, and there will be no throw. Let's chalk one up to the coach.
A good guess by LSU. A good time to put up the side. Great jump before Wyckoff even picked up his leg. And on a breaking ball down and in, Greeley with no trouble getting into second base.
That's only his 3rd stolen base of the season. And LSU with a runner in scoring position, and Wyckoff up high and runs the count now to 3-1, and catcher Adam McCullough out to talk with him.
A pair of freshmen. McCullough, the catcher, is a freshman, and right now, of all of those first-year players involved, Laxton has had the best of it. A very key inning for Travis Wyckoff and the Shockers, because Skip Bertman will try to play a little tack-on baseball, add 1 run at a time, and when they get up 3 or 4, and Gene Stevenson is not as apt to bring Dreifert or Bluma in with his team down.
3-1 pitch. That's ball 4. That represents a major mistake by Wyckoff. Antonini hitting just .228, and his 45 strikeouts lead the team. And what he's done is given him a free pass, and we're going to get a visit to the mound here.
Brent Chemnitz, the pitching coach, who come out both to have a word with Travis Wyckoff and also buy a little time for somebody to get up in the bullpen for Wichita State. They have to play this game right now as if it's the 9th inning. They can't wait any longer.
Let's go back down to the coach again, Ron.
Yeah, Greg, I think we're going to see some running here, like we were talking about with the slow release time of Wyckoff. But right in a situation like here, I'm sure he's going out there and talking to him and telling him he's got to get off that mound because LSU has to bunt in this situation. They've got to move those runners over and, you know, and play for the sacrifice in a lot of different ways to score with a runner on second and third. So you got to look for the bunt here. You got to look for Wyckoff to get off that mound and try and stop it and make the play at third.
And the play at third is the key because you mentioned the stolen base total for Greeley, not particularly fast. So if you bounce off that mound on a bunt, you'll have a good chance at knocking off that lead runner at third.
Here's the number 9 hitter in Skip Bertman's order, Kenny Jackson. Two on, nobody out here in the last of the second for LSU. There's a bunt up the third base line. Blake will throw to first, and the sacrifice works perfectly. That moves Greeley to third, Antonini to second. And with one out the top of the order, Jason Williams. And down in the bullpen, Darren Dreifert has already started to loosen up for Wichita State.
Gets late early in Omaha. Gene Stevenson cannot wait much longer.
Here's Williams. Strike call. Williams fly to center, leading off the bottom of the first.
And despite being down 2 in this situation with one out, Gene Stevenson is leaving his infield back. I would think he might bring him in, try to cut down on that run.
Stay here, stay here, stay
Wilson
here, stay
fouls
here.
it off of his left foot and is down in the count now 0-2.
There's the other way of thinking early in the game if you're Gene Stevenson. Yes, it's a 2-run game. If it's 3-0, I can handle it. Maybe he doesn't want to bring the infield in, and a little ground ball becomes a base hit, and he falls behind 4-0. That'd be pretty tough to overcome.
And now with your 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up, you're looking at a big inning.
He's now going to move maybe the right side of the infield in a little bit. So if Williams were to hit the ball that direction.
No balls, 2 strikes. The count to leadoff man Jason Williams. Runners at second and third, and 1 out for LSU. Stays alive. Sometimes fans may wonder, well, why would you not have the ace of your staff ready to pitch the championship game? As you mentioned, Mike Sorotka pitching for LSU yesterday. The idea is first get yourself to the championship game.
Just getting here, working your way through the regional to get to Omaha is actually the toughest part of postseason college baseball.
High and away. A ball and 2 strikes.
And the ace for the Shockers has been left-hander Mike Brandley. Pitched a good game a week ago against Arizona State. Also started one on Thursday, so he'd not be available today.
1-2 pitch to Williams. It stays outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lined in the left field, base hit. 1 run will score. They'll hold the second runner at third. And runners at the corners for LSU. It's a 3-0 game.
that's how they got here, and that's how they expect to win the game. LSU is with good hitting, and they're taking advantage of Travis Wyckoff's wildness in the early part of this one, and they're going to force Gene Stevenson to make a pitching change a lot earlier than he had hoped to.
LSU leads at 3-0. Darren Dreifert will come on from the bullpen here in the bottom of the second with 2 on and just 1 out. We'll strike up the music, take a timeout, and come back to Omaha in a moment.
Remember the great hits, the spectacular plays, the winning runs. Catch all the excitement of the 1993 College World Series with the official souvenir program. To purchase your copy, send $7 to NCAA Programs, 904 North Broadway, Lexington, Kentucky, 40505. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. This message provided by the NCAA.
Number 2 player picked in the draft by the Dodgers, Darren Dreifert. We asked him about what kind of pitcher he is out on the mound.
I describe myself as maybe not having pinpoint control, but I've got good movement on my fastball, and I've got a pretty good slider, and I need to work a lot on my changeup. But, you know, I think I get a lot of ground balls, and I think that helps me a lot.
He failed to mention the speed on that fastball.
He's very humble, to say the least. Very mature young man. The Dodgers got a real jewel when they drafted him. Seattle had the first pick, and they took Alex Rodriguez. But the movement is the key when you look at his pitching numbers. If that ball is near the strike zone, hitters are apt to chase it because it has so much movement on it. Little test for freshman Adam McCullough behind the plate, catching just to hang on to it.
Fastball has been clocked at 95 miles an hour. Here's Armando Rios. LSU with runners at the corners and 1 out. And he opts to keep Jason Williams close at first.
And there's one of the unofficial differences in the rules, college and pro. The relaxed balk rule, that would, on the professional level, would have been a balk by Dreifert. He never really stepped toward first.
Hit in the air to left field. Tilma near the line, runner at third tags, and he's going to try it. The throw won't get there in time. And on the play, Williams moves down to second. LSU.
See, Tommy Tilma never really gets over to the line far enough to get in position to make a strong throw. The ball was over his right shoulder, so a lot of extra movement, not much on the throw, and not only did the run score, but the Tigers got to advance the man from first to second to put another runner into scoring position.
And Antonini not particularly quick coming down the line. Beat it comfortably. So LSU with 2 in the first and now 2 more here in the second, a 4-0 lead. And here's Russ Johnson on base in the first when Todd Walker cracked the 2-run homer. Swing and a miss.
And going back to that catch by Tommy Tilma, who's an outstanding defensive outfielder, you'd like to get in position to catch the ball over your throwing shoulder. And then he'd have got that little hop step, maybe a little more on the throw, or if he hit the cutoff man, they could have at least kept Williams from advancing to second.
The count on Johnson. Tapped off the plate. This will be a tough play. Blake can't make the pickup. That's an infield hit, and Williams moves to third.
You can see after Darren Dreifert, if this ball is hit, look what he does. He breaks toward first. That is an area that college pitchers are trained to get over and back up first base, and it's a bad habit to get into, because Dreifert, the pitcher, probably had a better chance to get over and get some leather on that ball as Casey Blake did. And you see it a lot in college baseball. The ball is hit and the pitcher runs over to back up first base. There's really no purpose for it, but that goes back to their pitchers' fielding practice training.
Here's Todd Walker, author of a 2-run homer back in the first inning. He has 2 teammates aboard with 2 out here in the second, and that's low and in for ball 1. Mentioned to Dryford yesterday, and you will see it on a ground ball to the first baseman. His mechanics for a pitcher of getting over to cover are excellent. He makes a beeline to that baseline and then up the line to first base the way it's taught.
That's a good habit to get into, getting over to cover the bag, but to run over to get behind the bag is really unnecessary movement most of the time.
The fake to third finds no one straying too far off the base. The fist down the left field line. Adams out. Tillma on. That falls fair. One run home on the play. Another runner goes to second, and then Walker takes an extra base. The Shockers paid no attention at all to Walker, and he moved up to second.
It was LSU. State's defense and back into the infield, and Walker very easily trotted into second base.
That goes as a single, and technically he has taken second on the throw, although there was no throw. 5-0 Tigers. Berrios fouls it at the plate.
Yeah, this is set up perfectly for Skip Bertman. Darren Dryford's in the game in the second inning. He's not going to pitch 7 innings, 6 or 7. And with the score 5-0, Gene Stevenson might say, why do I want to waste this young man out there for more than 3 or 4? So by the middle of this game, Dryford could already be a non-factor as a pitcher.
Berrios free swinger at the plate. 1-2. Berrios strides into that pitch. Has been hit 17 times by a pitched ball this season. One-two from Dryford. Got him swinging. So that does it for LSU, but not before the Tigers put 3 more on the board, and through 2, it's LSU with a 5-0 lead. LSU freshman right-hander Brett Laxton has been given a 5-run lead to work with as we move to the top of the 3rd inning. It'll be the number 9 hitter in the Wichita State batting order, Adam McCullough. Then we'll go to the top of the order with Carl Hall and Jason Adams, and there's work to do for the Shockers. They're down 5.
And now what you can do if you're Brett Laxton and Skip Bertman, the coach who calls the pitches, he breaks them up into zones. A zone 1 fastball would be right down the middle. 5-run lead, young freshman. You're only going to use them 110 pitches. Here it is. Hit it if you can. Don't try to get too tricky.
He misses outside with that 1-1. Depending on how well that message gets through depends on the maturity of a freshman out on the mound.
Well, it's been the system at LSU. The pitcher and the catcher always have an option to shake it off.
As we mentioned earlier, it hasn't so much been big bats for Wichita State here in the College World Series, but the timeliness of the hitting. They come into this game hitting just .213 here in Omaha.
What they hope to do is take advantage of the opposition's mistakes, and LSU in past games has made enough of them.
In the count now, 3-1. McCullough, a freshman from Lawton, Oklahoma. Just 1 home run on the season. And about to see a 3-1 pitch from Laxton. Strike 2. Plate umpire Jim Garman doesn't leave any doubt, does he?
Umpiring has been pretty consistent. At the College World Series, we talked about the more liberal strike zone than maybe most other leagues.
Got him swinging. 5th strikeout of the game for Laxton, and let's go down to Coach Frazier.
Well, Coach Stevenson had a little meeting there, and I'm sure what he's saying is, well, we got a freshman out there. We've got to make this young man pitch. He's making a swing at some bad pitches. We can't do that. We've got to get him on the hook. We can only swing at good pitches. We've got our best pitcher out there, and you got to get some runs, and we'll hold them right here. And this is a time to go. They're 5 down, and they've got to do it now.
All right, Coach, top of the order, and Carl Hall, who looked at a call 3rd strike. Coming into this game, Laxton had 4 innings pitched here in Omaha and 4 strikeouts. He's already put 5 on the board through 2 1/3 innings. Hit in the air, left side. Johnson out, makes the call, and the catch. I want to remind you that coming up next on CBS Sports, 3rd round coverage of the Buick Classic, live from Westchester, New York, where Jeff Maggard and Duffy Waldorf and Tom Kite, through 2 rounds, are tied for the lead.
We're tuning in just to watch Duffy Waldorf's hats. He's got the most colorful hats on the PGA Tour. Or caps.
Well, make up your mind.
Either one.
Call strike on Jason Adams.
Just what Coach Frazier was referring to is what Laxton and catcher Antonini are trying to combat. Not fall behind in the count and make Wichita State swing the bat with some early strikes.
There's a liner into right field. Base hit in the first run of the game for Wichita State.
Well, Laxton challenges. And Adams is right on time. Takes advantage of the high fastball. Berrios plays it the safe way, not allow an extra base hit with the 5-run lead.
Here's Taylor, who grounded to short to end the 1st inning. That misses the outside corner. 1-0. Another jam-packed house here at Rosenblatt Stadium. Well, what a week they have had here in Omaha. That's a call strike, 1-1.
When we came out here this morning, about 10 o'clock, between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, the lines out here beyond the left field stands at Johnny Rosenblatt, or the 3rd base stand, to get general admission tickets were lengthy. And by 10:30, quarter to 11, all the seats were already sold out. All they were offering was standing room only. So again, they keep breaking the attendance record.
So what time did you finally make it into the park?
Well, I stood in line for a while till you showed up. You had the passes.
They will set a new attendance mark with this crowd here at the College World Series.
Well, they've done such a nice job adding seats and improving all the amenities for the fans.
2-2 now, the count on Richie Taylor.
Well, it's just country hardball. You can see how warm it is on the field, and Laxton is trying to keep the pitching hand dry. He said, man, I got a 5-run lead. Good fastball. Rock and fire. Here it is. See if you can catch up with it. Not many of them do.
2-2 pitch to Taylor. And he stays alive with a foul back to the screen.
Mentioned he was a 4th-round draft pick, so he was offered a fair amount of money to turn pro out of high school. So you know what kind of talent Laxton has.
Taylor with some home run power. He's hit 7 of them this season. That misses. And the count is full at 3-2. Boy, up amongst the freshmen Only 2 nationwide had a better earned run average.
And an 11-1 record to go with that ERA, and a lot of them against good SEC teams during conference play. So it wasn't some of those early season games where you're playing weaker ball clubs.
There goes the runner. Full count pitch. Misses, and the Shockers with 2 runners aboard. Second base on balls given up by Laxton. And now Toby Smith and Gene Stevenson going to walk down and have a conversation with Toby Smith. Hit this one out for me.
Well, it could be one of 2 things. Now, a lot of times fans of a team will say, oh, the pitcher just walked 2 guys and my hitter goes up there and swings at the first pitch. Why do they do that? Well, Stevenson is probably saying, hey, he's a little wild. We got 2 men on, but you're my home run threat. The first pitch you get is probably going to be a fastball. So if it's right where you like it, go ahead and wail at it. It could be that, or he could say, let's try to work him into a 2-ball count, and then you know you're going to get a fastball. But I would expect with Toby Smith, if it's there around the middle of the zone, he's got to swing the bat. He's the one guy who can get you 3 runs with 1 swing.
18 homers, 82 runs batted in on the season. Swinging on that first pitch and misses. Jason Adams singled. He's down at second. Richie Taylor walked. He's on at first. 2 out. Top of the 3rd inning, and the Shockers down 5. Check swing between first and second. Walker will pick it up, and again, Wichita State strands 2 through 2.5 here in Omaha. It's 5-0 Tigers, and will return to Rosenblatt Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. Greg Gumbel, Jim Cott back in Omaha. During the better part of the session we had with Darren Dreifert yesterday, he spent a lot of time making fun of my socks, but I want the folks to look down at Coach Ron Frazier. Look at those socks.
Wow, is he enjoying retirement? I mean, he wants to get into the broadcast business, and we've got to have a little wardrobe session here.
I mean, that's obviously the Miami Hurricane look, isn't it?
That's the South Florida retired, kick back and take it easy look, and he does it well.
Guys, let me tell you something now. You know, it's a very hot day out here. You promised me not to take any pictures except from the waist up.
Well, we lied.
We got you.
Mike Neal swings and misses on the first offering from Darren Dreifert as we start the last of the 3rd. Actually, we told the coach we wanted to make him as comfortable as possible on our broadcast, but hey. Little dribbler toward 3rd. Blake, barehand pickup, throws, not in time. Infield hit, the 6th of the afternoon for LSU, and Tigers on base again.
Well, a good pitch. You see the movement on Darren Dreifert's fastball, and Casey Blake at 3rd plays it as well as you can, but just had too far to throw it. Playing a little deep at 3rd base, and you can't make the play any better. It becomes a concentration game right now for Wichita State. It's got to be very demoralizing to be down 5 early. Dreifert already in the game.
Greeley fouls it past 3rd, and yet there's ample evidence this week of just what can happen in these games.
So what you have to do, Gene Stevenson had the meeting between innings, but if you're out there in the field, you try to get on your toes before every pitch and just say, hey, it's a 1-1 game. The ball might come to me. You've got to try to keep the same intensity and concentration as if it were a 1-1 game and you're not down by 5. Don't get caught back on your heels. That's the danger.
Go back to that 3-run rally that LSU staged to beat Long Beach yesterday afternoon. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2 now on Greeley. And I saw Tim Falskin of Long Beach, the 3rd baseman, fine 3rd baseman for the 49ers, and he said, boy, I thought we were mentally tough, but to watch those LSU Tigers in the bottom of the 9th was something else. Greeley walked and stole 2nd back in the 3-run 2nd inning. Dreifert outside. Let's go back down to the sockless coach.
Well, I'll tell you what, it looks like Dreifert is going to cut back on the running game of LSU. He's got a release time about 1.2. And I don't think they're going to be doing any running on him unless they start something up and hit and run and hit. But no straight steals on this guy.
Good observation. That's the advantage of being a hard thrower and not having a complicated motion. Just a simple leg kick and go.
Dryford outside again, and the count now is even to Greeley at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Talk about what a roller coaster it's been for the teams here, but for the fans who travel from LSU and from Texas A&M and from Kansas. They've seen their team's fortunes rise and fall with every inning.
When you run into a lot of fans from all of those schools that plan their trips like combination business and vacation just to be around Omaha this time of the year so they can take in the College World Series games and follow their team.
Coach Frazier sends up word from downstairs that Mike Neal ought to be going on this pitch.
I would think so. 3-2, no outs.
And the throw to first, and he almost got him leaning.
It's a little spin move. Couple things when Darren Dryford gets into professional baseball this summer. You won't see this move. Watch how he spins and throws. See, on the pro level, that's a balk, and you also won't see him running over, backing up first base, cutting off the runner there. And one of those times in professional ball, he's going to get run over. Don't want that to happen.
There goes Neal. That's inside, ball 4, and LSU with runners at first and second now and nobody out.
I would think we'd see a bunt here, whether you're looking through the knot hole or whether you're looking from up here. It's another situation to advance a couple of runners and spread the lead with a player at the plate that is not known for his hitting ability.
Antonini walked back in the second. And expecting a bunt, and there's the bunt high and tight. The bunt attempt, ball 1.
Here again, I think, is the concentration factor that's bothering Darren Dryford. He's used to being in games with the game on the line, and you don't often see him miss the strike zone by as wide a margin as we have here in the 3rd inning.
Blake will creep in from 3rd and Toby Smith from 1st. He takes it inside. That time Blake stayed at 3rd, which means Dryford has the responsibility of a bunt at the 3rd base line.
Normal depth with the infield.
LSU with a chance to pop this game wide open here. That's called strike on the inside. Antonini taking all the way. It's 2-1. Dryford came on in relief of starter Travis Wyckoff in the 2nd inning and has given up 3 hits.
He's looking in at Gene Stevenson right now. I think the Wichita State coach thinks with a 2-1 count that maybe LSU will turn around and put the bunt sign back on again.
Let's go downstairs to Ron Frazier, coach.
Well, Antonini didn't bunt the last time in this situation because he's not a good bunter. But I think here he has to bunt. I look for him to put the ball down, and they want to make a big inning out of it.
All right, coach. That time the play was on out at 2nd base. Joey Jackson broke for 1st and then came back trying to get Neal at 2nd. Antonini's bunt is foul. And the count is even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You see what Darren Dryford does with those fastballs in a bunt situation. He runs them right up and in on the hands. That's the ideal place to throw the ball as a pitcher. That's the most difficult pitch to bunt. As you square around, you see that fastball coming in about shoulder high. It's tough to get out of the way of it. You have a tendency to jab at it, as Antonini did on that pitch.
Two balls, 2 strikes now on Antonini. And he got nailed on the forearm, and not much of an effort to get out of the way, but the bases are loaded.
Antonini's saying, yeah, I know #1 draft pick, throws 94. He just takes one for the team. And again, Dreifert misses the ball way up and in. And this is not Darren Dreifert. This is not his typical pitching outing, and I don't think Gene Stevenson is going to waste this much longer with his team in danger of falling behind a little farther.
Brent Chemnitz, pitching coach, out to the mound, and out in the bullpen for Wichita State is left-hander Brandon Baird. And the Shocker is facing a serious situation here with the bases loaded and nobody out.
Again, it's a little time-buying visit for Brent Chemnitz, the pitching coach. Home plate umpire Jim Garman will break that up and say, let's play ball. This game has been played at a painfully slow pace with all the fans anticipating, the final and an exciting game. And you can see the depressed mood of the Wichita State team in the field with the way they're approaching the game.
This early scoring outbreak is unusual for LSU. They had scored 9 runs in the first 5 innings here in Omaha, and then 25 runs in the last 4. Here's Kenny Jackson. That's ball 1. Bases loaded, nobody out. And trouble on the horizon for Wichita State, because after Jackson you go to the top of the order. Dreifert looking to find someone straying off, and no one was.
I don't think you're going to get, if you get that play to work with the bases loaded, Skip Burtman will have a little word with Antonini when he comes in. Bases loaded, nobody out. There's no place to go until the ball's hit.
1-0 pitch. Ball, strike. Let's go down to Ron Frazier. Coach?
It's a tough situation here for Dreifert, and he was taken there. I think he's got to swing here. Something's got to happen. They're going to play big inning baseball, and now's the time they need to hit to break it open, and that's what Skip is looking for at this time.
A ball and a strike to Kenny Jackson. Bases full of Tigers, nobody out in a 5-0 LSU lead. That's outside, 2-1. And Dreifert having real control problems now. The runner at third is Mike Neal. He reached on an infield single. Jim Greeley walked. He's out at second. Adrian Antonini, hit by a pitch, is on at first. And a 2-1 pitch to Jackson. Ball 3.
If this continues, the first thing fans of Wichita State are going to refer to is what we talked about in the first inning. They have only had to play 3 games, Wichita State, to get here. They're undefeated. So they've had more rest than any other team, as opposed to LSU that comes off that emotional win yesterday where they're a little sharp and ready to play. And it kind of looks that way when you look at this game. Wichita State is back on their heels and looks rather flat.
3-1 pitch. Strike 2. Dreifert team into this game 8-0 in his last 21 outings with a 1.39 earned run average and just 11 earned runs in just over 71 innings. Foul back. He had only walked 20 in those 71 innings with 87 strikeouts.
See that even on the major league level. If you bring a top reliever in a game like this that is not close, oftentimes they're not as sharp. They're always sharper with the game on the line. And on the college level, Dreifert has been that type of pitcher.
3-2 pitch. Over the mound. Out to second. Jackson to short for one. The relay double play, and on the play, Mike Neal scored. So it's a 6-0 LSU lead now, and a nice play out at second by Joey Jackson, who short hopped the ball.
Take a look at the play at second base as Jackson flips to Adams, and then you see the slide right there by Antonini, and immediately second base umpire Ron Graham said automatically, in fact, right now I don't know if they're I don't know if this is a I don't think it's an ejection situation, but it is an automatic double play.
What he's doing is he's sending Greeley back to second.
No advancement on the roll block at second. That Antonini, Smoke Laval shaking his head, the third base coach not thinking it was that flagrant. But again, this is one of the college rules. Antonini really is trying to get out of the way. I don't think he was trying to do any harm to Jason Adams, but that's the college rule. No roll block, and once that body flipped over like that, that's
so Mike Neal is going to move back to third and take that run off the board for LSU. Well, if you ever want to talk about getting the optimum out of a double play with the bases loaded, you get 2 outs and you still have 2 runners on base and nobody home. Charge Antonini with interference out at second base. And here's the leadoff man, Jason Williams. And if Dreifert can get Williams here, that's a major bullet the Shockers will have dodged here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, rule's a rule, and that's the way it is in college baseball, but you hate to see a player's aggressiveness take away if no harm is meant. I don't think there was any in that. That's just the emotion of play in the game. You want to go into second base, not slide tentatively and take a chance on hurting yourself.
Well, in defensive Antonini, a coach will tell a shortstop coming across that bag, you throw that ball through that runner coming down at second.
Drop down from Port Arthur. Go from underneath. Of course, I'm sure Skip Bertman will have a word with Antonini about that, because even in a 5-run game, we talked about all the comebacks in College World Series game. That did cost the Tigers an extra run.
There's Antonini. So Neal is still the runner at third. Greeley is out at second. 2 out. No runs home. And the 0-2 pitch to Williams. Line foul down the right field line and into the seats. These teams met in the national championship game 2 years ago. And LSU won it. 0-2 pitch. 1-2.
And there was the center fielder in that game, and LSU Tigers said, yeah, we have a center fielder, Armando Rios, that can cover some ground, but he hit a 2-run homer in that game, and since then he's gained a lot more respect as a hitter and not just a good center fielder.
Came up with a 2-run double in the 9th inning to tie the game against Long Beach yesterday. That misses outside. The count now 2-2 to Williams. And it was a little makeup time for Rios because he kind of nonchalanted a ball out in center field yesterday. Dropped it. Led to some scoring action for Long Beach. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Ball 3. Well, there's a place for Dreifert to put him. First base is empty, but then you're taking another big chance with Rios coming up with the bases loaded. Tigers looking to get lucky in the dugout. Full count pitch, swung on and foul.
And now if you're a hitter, in this case Jason Williams, you're so much more relaxed, even though you're going against one of the top college pitchers in baseball. It's one thing to hit at a 95-mile-an-hour fastball in a 1-1 game, but 3-2 count, team up by 5. Those hands and wrists are a little loose you can generate a little more bat speed.
Try it again. Ball 4. And the bases are loaded again. And here's Rios.
Disappointing outing. You can see it on the expression on Darren Dreifert's face. He was here in '91. He didn't get to share the joy of the championship win in '89 by the Shockers, but he was here in '91 when LSU defeated them.
Dreifert will work from the windup. Called strike. LSU fans are on their feet behind the dugout, and the players were exhorting him to do so just a moment ago. Here's the group from Baton Rouge. 0-1 pitch. Lined into center field, base hit. That'll bring 2 runs home. Runners at first and second, and a 7-0 LSU lead. And now a loose ball. Runner's going to try to go to third, and he's in there.
Well, the improved Armando Rios at the plate. You mentioned the big hit yesterday. He takes this right back over the cap of Dreifert. And again, it is one thing to lose. LSU clearly playing the better baseball in the early part of this one, but it's another thing to play the kind of baseball that Wichita State is now. Overthrowing the cutoff man, and it's an example of their concentration. They're not in this game because of that 7-0 score. And Gene Stevenson has developed a lot better players out of his program than we're seeing perform this afternoon.
Let's go down to Coach Frazier. Coach?
Guys, this is something that doesn't happen. This has got to be a big demoralizer for that Wichita ball club. They've got to really be down now. Dreifert never gets treated like this, and I don't know what the feeling is over there, but you know, this could be the situation where they could give it up.
Here's Russ Johnson. He's been on twice with a walk and a single, and he fouls the first pitch. 0-1. LSU 2 runs in the first, 3 in the second, 2 more here in the third.
And it could have been worse. They gave one back on Antonini's illegal slide at second base, or they would have had another run or another base runner.
Gene Stevenson freely admits this is not his best team. He lost 6 All-Americans from last year's team, and says constantly, we always make it interesting. And there's no question he's done an outstanding coaching job this year. But he says it's the epitome of this team is that it has pulled together as a team.
When you think of the top college baseball programs in recent years, now we've seen Arizona State here in Omaha this time, and they have been one of the high-profile programs, and going back to Rod Dato's great teams with USC and Florida State, Ron Frazier with his Miami ball club, those were the big names in college baseball. But in recent years, it has been these 2 programs. LSU has 13 players in the big leagues right now, and Wichita State, of course, their most prominent big leaguer, Joe Carter, but they've also developed a lot of them.
Dreifert again to first, and Rios dives back in. Rios a threat to run with 20 steals and 25 tries this year. Rios is at first. Williams is over at third. 2 out, 2 runs in, 7-0 LSU. 2 balls and a strike. And Dreifert not consistent at all as far as finding the plate today.
Projecting him as a pro, and there's no question about the talent, but I'm sure one of the things in the Dodgers system they will get straight right away is his aggressive approach, or in today's case, the nonchalant approach. Especially when you're playing behind a pitcher, you want to see a guy working at a little faster pace, throwing strikes, challenging hitters, and that's an example of it right there. 7-run lead. Armando Rios has no reason to be too far off base, so Dreifert, that's a bit of wasted effort to consistently throw over there.
The left-hander Brandon Baird now down in the bullpen. We assume he is ready anytime he's called upon. 2-1 pitch. Line foul down the right field line. And that'll even the count now at 2-2. Difference here in the heavens in Omaha. There are some light clouds and some dark clouds.
It's cleared off a little bit. There was some severe weather predicted that they may not have started this game on time, but it's improved a little since the start at noon.
Two and two, the count to Johnson with 2 outs and runners at first and third. Strike 3 call. But the damage is done. 2 runs across, and as we go to the 4th, there is work to be done here in Omaha for Wichita State. Welcome back to Johnny Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, along with Ron Fraser, Leslie Visser, and Jim Cott. I'm Greg Gumbel. This is the College World Series championship game, and so far it is looking terrific for the LSU Tigers, who have scored in each of the first 3 innings and lead Wichita State by a score of 7-0. Freshman Brett Laxton has allowed the Shockers just 1 base hit through the first 3 innings. And here's Darren Dreifert to lead off the 4th for Wichita State.
See him swinging that arm. He's had a long layoff. All 3 innings his team has been at the plate for a while. You like that, but then you want to make sure you're loose when you go back out there.
Ball 1 to Dreifert. Off his fists and out towards second, where Walker scoops it up and throws him out. Laxton the winner of that battle.
Well, when you can get in on the hands of a power hitter like Dreifert, especially swinging the aluminum bat, that says a lot about your fastball. Brett Laxton has a good one.
Here's Jackson, who popped up to first baseman Kenny Jackson, his only other plate appearance. That went up high, ball 1. Tries to put one up the third base line and fouls it over to the third base dugout.
A lot of anticipation in that dugout. They'd like to fast forward this game right now to about the 8th inning. A lot of the players on the LSU team that have not experienced a championship.
Talking with Skip Bertman about last time we were here 2 years ago, he had a slugger named Lyle Mouton, who he says is doing just fine in the Yankee organization at Albany, AA ball. 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Sixth strikeout of the day for Brett Laxton. 2 out and nobody on, and this Wichita State team, you don't really know what to expect. Ask Gene Stevenson to describe his club.
Each team, you know, has its own personality, and so those things have to be measured, maybe if not after the season, certainly not until late in the season. And one of the things that I think that has set this team apart has been its unselfish attitude, about the way it's gone about its business as a team and a unit, and it's really been special.
Gene Stevenson said never in his wildest dreams would he expected this team to be here in the College World Series, let alone in the championship game.
But that's why you've seen the meetings between innings, even down 7 runs. The coach is concerned about his program and the personality of his players and teams. He wants to make sure they pull together and win or lose, play the good fundamental baseball that they've been taught.
2-1 now to Casey Blake.
When you see his players that come out of this program, 2 names come to mind. Mike Lansing, who's doing a good job right now with the Montreal Expos, and Pat Mears with the Minnesota Twins. Their characteristics are fundamentally sound, hard-nosed, very confident, and that's the kind of players they produce.
Down the right field line, foul territory, and falls out of the reach of Kenny Jackson, the first baseman. Well, these are outstanding programs, as you mentioned, Jim, and all-time winning percentage. Wichita State right up there. Gene Stevenson in his 16th season with the Shockers.
And when you look at those other 4 schools, those are big-name marquee schools around the country. So the recruiting job that they've done at Wichita State, and a lot of the kids in that Kansas area love to go to Wichita State and play baseball.
Laxton just misses his 7th strikeout of the game. And the count is full now to Blake. Still a full count. Talked about the threatening weather. Boy, there was a heck of a storm that came through Omaha last night.
They just got yesterday's game in time. It was a 3 o'clock start. Skies opened up right after the last out. The last run.
3-2 pitch, ball 4. So along with his 6 strikeouts, Laxton has now walked 3. And here's the senior, the only senior in the Wichita State lineup, Tommy Tilma.
Well, that's his typical game, Brett Laxton. That's why right now I think Skip Bertman winning the game is #1 concern, but he'd like to see his freshman work through 5 innings, get a chance to qualify for the win, and then you'd see him go down to his bullpen, either to Scott Schultz or Will Hunt.
Last night, along with those thunderstorms, there were hailstones the size of hailstones. Called strike, 1-1. The Shockers still with just 1 hit this afternoon. That a base hit by Jason Adams in 3rd, and that one high and tight and almost got Tilma. Pitch. Tilma tries to bunt and fouls it off. The count is even at 2-2.
Not a bad idea. Not known as a particularly strong hitter. Team's down 7. Drop 1 down. See what can happen. Well, the middle part of this ball game is if you're going to come back, that's when you have to do it. You start getting into that 6th inning and you're down 7. Then you give that opposing team an awful lot of confidence that they can close you out easily.
There goes the runner. 2-2 pitch fouled off by Tilma. Bill Laxton working out on the mound. His parents sweating it up almost as much in the seats.
Yeah, he's a former big leaguer. Came up with the Phillies in the early 70s. Played a little with the Padres and the Indians. So he knows what it's like. There's that familiar go.
Tigers first. Almost got Blake. Bill Laxton and his wife Cheryl, the parents of Brett Laxton, out on the mound. Pretty significant parents here this week. Sal Bando was here watching Sal Bando Jr. play for Oklahoma State. Two balls, 2 strikes on Tilma. Ball 3. And with the count full and 2 out, Blake will be off with the pitch from first. Every one of those LSU Tigers up on the top step of the dugout. There goes Blake. Ball 4, and the Shockers with 2 runners aboard again. And we heard Gene Stevenson describing the nature of his team. What about Skip Bertman on the LSU Tigers?
This team doesn't have much talent, and they'll admit that themselves. We don't hit quite as well, and we don't have nearly the pitching that team had. But this team has great heart, and a great how-to-win awareness. Like, this team can figure out a way to win the ball game. They can run a little. They can make a great defensive play. They can walk, then hit a homer. This team has a great desire to win, and is going to always go down regardless of what happens. One of my favorite teams.
Nice man and a terrific coach. Here's Adam McCullough. 2 on, 2 out. And there's a called strike.
Of course, he was Ron Frazier's pitching coach at Miami for years before he took over the LSU program. So it's been Skip Bertman that has really created that baseball dynasty at LSU.
One and one now.
Got him a little antsy here, though. A 7-run lead is nice, but when your pitcher's out there in the 4th inning and can't find the strike zone, you begin to think, how quickly do I have to make a move? A couple walks and a hit, and Wichita State could be back in it.
1 and 2. The Shockers have had their chances. Back in the 2nd, a walk and an error put 2 runners aboard. They left them stranded. In the 3rd, a single and a walk. And still no results, and now a pair of bases on balls here in the 4th inning. 1-2 pitch to McCullough. He barely stays alive. LSU with Greeley, Rios, and Berrios in the outfield, left to right. Williams at 3rd, Johnson at short, Walker at 2nd, Kenny Jackson at 1st, Laxton on the mound, and Adrian Antonini behind the plate. Now, 1-ball, 2-strike count on Adam McCullough. Bounce in the dirt, and a nice pickup by Antonini.
Not drafted by any professional team, but Adrian Antonini, known as one of Skip Bertman's better throwing catchers, and good hands behind the plate as he demonstrated on that pitch.
2-2 pitch. Goes fishing up high. Another strikeout, and Laxton escapes trouble again. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th with LSU up 7.
For those who like
is dominating Wichita State. One of the most famous places in the country to house abused or abandoned kids is right here in Omaha. It is, of course, Father Flanagan's Boys Town. Well, earlier this week, our own Jim Cott conducted a clinic out at Boys Town. He talked to the kids about pitching and hitting. Maybe he told them the secrets of how to hit the knuckleball. Jim said it was a remarkable experience, Greg, although I don't think he told me if there are any potential Barry Bonds or John Olerud's.
He'd know him if he saw him. I know you enjoyed that trip.
I did. It always is a lot of fun going out there. Kids are very enthused about baseball. Many of them have come out here to watch the College World Series, and anytime you come to Omaha, that's a worthwhile stop to see what they do out at Boys Town.
There's the new Wichita State pitcher, Brandon Baird, freshman left-hander with a 6-1 record and a 3.42 earned run average. He has come on, and his appearance means that Darren Dreifert will go back to the DH role, which you are allowed to do in college baseball. Here's Todd Walker, a home run and a single, and 3 RBIs so far. This is the rule. When the pitcher DH is replaced as the pitcher, he can remain in the game as the DH, but must bat in the DH spot only. And if he remains, he or a subsequent DH can't enter the game in any other capacity.
Sound like a disclaimer.
You will be quizzed later. 1-0 pitch to Walker. It's a strike, 1-1.
Actually, it's the 20th year anniversary of a rather much more exciting game than we have on hand here today, when Minnesota was leading Southern Cal 7-0 behind Dave Winfield. Freddie Lynn, a member of that team, and Southern Cal came back to win that game. And I think that rule that you just read is oftentimes referred to as the Winfield rule, because college baseball found out that so many of their outstanding athletes were good hitters and pitchers, so they wanted to find a way to keep them in the game even if they weren't pitching.
Walker goes down swinging. So the College World Series RBI leader is out and retired for the first time this afternoon.
Nice little breaking ball by Brandon Baird, and in a good spot. Perfect pitch, knee-high outside corner. Unfortunately for Shocker fans, it may be a little late for perfect pitches.
Here is Berrios. A single and a strikeout in 2 trips to the plate. That's ball 1. You mentioned Freddie Lynn. While we're thinking about it, certainly a tip of our cap to our ESPN colleagues, Freddie Lynn and Mike Patrick and Steve Garvey and Tim Brando, for their usual outstanding job covering the College World Series here in Omaha.
Well, and as much as we enjoy coming in here for just our couple of games, I've had the privilege of doing it for the entire series before. It's a great experience, and that the entire crew, from the production crew to the broadcasters, they love their stay in Omaha as we do, and they do a great job.
What's the call? That's right. Larry Conley. I left out Larry Conley. Kill me for that.
That's right. Big baseball fan.
The former Kentucky Wildcat. Ball and 2 strikes, and Brandon Baird has come out of the Wichita State bullpen throwing strikes, but there's a base hit to left for Berrios. That's his 2nd hit of the game and the 8th of the day for LSU.
Probably as much raw power as anyone in the LSU lineup, Berrios, as far as hitting the ball hard, and he does it with this one. Casey Blake takes 1 step, and that ball's already into left field.
Nice shot of Berrios. Sometimes you hear how a hitter goes down after a pitch. Here's Mike Neal. We are now in the lower part of the LSU batting order, and these guys are getting their 3rd rips. And we're only in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Skip Bertman was talking about the will to win, the heart and the competitive nature of his team, and his captain is Mike Neal. He's the guy that really provides the on-the-field leadership for this ball club. People might say, well, what is a leader of a baseball team? What do? Run up and down the bench, hitting guys in the helmets and stuff. But when times are a little down, like yesterday when there were 2 runs down in the 9th inning.
This one grounded. Nice stop by Blake at 3rd. Goes for the force at 2nd, and he got him. Ron Graham, the umpire out at 2nd base, says the throw beat him. And that's 2 out.
Yeah, remember the Adrian Antonini slide when he violated the rule and roll blocked into 2nd base. But watch what can happen when you go in feet first. You have to go in feet first. And as a result, with those spikes flying, we got a little piece of Joey Jackson down there at 2nd base. So even though the college rules, you do not want to allow the roll block and get any knees injured by coming in spikes first, is not always the safest way either.
Strike 1 on Jim Greeley. LSU could have had an argument for Berrios beating that throw, but up 7-0. They aren't going to make too many waves at this stage of the game. So a lot of baseball to be played here this afternoon. Greeley up twice, walked twice, and rips this one foul down the right field line.
Getting back to Mike Neal's leadership, you always want a player you can look to in the dugout when things are down that can say the right thing, do the right thing to keep the morale up. From a pitching standpoint, it's Mike Sorotka. Well, he pitched a great game yesterday and got the win, pitched all 9 innings. And from the position player standpoint, it's Mike Neal.
You know, saw Sorotka on the LSU bench this morning, and you're used to seeing a guy who has pitched in a game with his arm wrapped. But I was surprised to see it wrapped this morning. I'm wondering if that meant that Skip Bertman wouldn't hesitate to go to him if he needed an hour or two.
Well, I asked him. He said he would not use him today. That's always a point of controversy in college baseball, is overuse of pitchers.
This one fouled out of play.
But Skip Bertman was a pitching coach for Ron Frazier. He was a pitching coach on the Olympic team in '88 when Jim Abbott and Andy Bennis and Ben McDonald were there. So even though he calls the pitches and dictates the game, he controls how many pitches they throw and tries his best not to abuse college pitchers.
Greeley fouls another one off. Greeley 11 out of 19 here in the College World Series. On base 11 out of 19 times, excuse me.
He's looking for a sign from Smoke Laval, but with the count, no balls, 2 strikes and 2 outs, there's only one sign you can get. If it's in the strike zone, you got to swing at it.
Oh-2 pitch. Lined up the middle and into center field. That's another hit for Greeley, and on the play, Neal will stop at second. That on-base percentage for Greeley just keeps going up.
Well, they're tacking on now. The LSU Tigers even taking pitches out of the strike zone. They're very comfortable with the big lead. They've come in here and shown how they can win games by swinging the bat, even though they may not be the best team in the field. And now you can bet in that dugout they're all saying, I want to go deep. I want to get an extra base hit. They want to pad the stats a little bit and increase the lead.
We saw Jim Greeley's own private fan club in the stands there. He's on at first, Neal at second, 2 out, and here's Antonini. Walked in the second and took a Darren Dreifert pitch in the shoulder in the third. LSU 7 runs, 9 hits and an error. Wichita State no runs, just 1 hit today off Brett Laxton. There go runners. Grounded to third. Blake will go to first on the play, and that'll do it. First time this afternoon LSU has been held scoreless. We played 7-0 Tigers, and we'll come back to Rosenblatt Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. Mentioned earlier that Wichita State had not been knocking the cover off the baseball here in Omaha, just a .213 batting average, but it was the timeliness of their hits. They're hitting .305 with runners in scoring position. Look what's happened today, though. They are 0 for 3 in that situation, while it's been LSU that's been able to take advantage of runners in scoring position as we start the top of the 5th inning and the top of the batting order with Carl Hall, and strike 1 to him. Hall, a called third strike and a fly out to short left field, and he's down in the count 0-2.
Same old thing with those baseball statistics. You can have fun with them, flip them around, slant them about any way you want to, but what you just pointed up there, that's what a coach looks for. Give me a hitter that can deliver with some men in scoring position, even though the average might be a little low. The time, like Casey Blake did the other night, 5 RBIs at the right time. That's what got Wichita State to the final game undefeated.
There are those that argue that baseball is a statistical game, but I think that there are a lot of them that are superfluous, and you're right, they're just there for fun, Jim. There are some, though, that are just absolutely meaningful and what determine whether a team wins and loses.
Most of them start with pitching and the performance of your starting pitcher.
And that's a strikeout.
Looked like on the attempted swing right there after the appeal down to first base umpire Don January. Carl Hall felt he held up on the swing. January said no. Laxton has another strikeout.
Jason Adams with a called strike. Laxton now with 8 strikeouts in 4 1/3 innings. And Adams has the only base hit off of him, a single back in the 3rd inning. So 2. Bases on balls, another statistic. A base on balls won't hurt a pitcher unless he's giving up base hits after that. If, however, he's the kind of pitcher who can bear down and get a hitter with runners on base, and he isn't hurting himself. This one into short right field. Walker calls and then is called off by Berrios for out number 2.
That's a good point. Today's starting pitchers are an example of that. See, Travis Wyckoff, because he didn't have the power to work out of jams. He's not a hard thrower. He walks a couple guys and it hurts him. Brett Laxton, on the other hand, is a hard thrower. He might walk a couple of men, put them on base, but we've seen today that he has the power to get the strikeout and work out of jams. So you're right, the base on balls does not affect him as much as it did Wyckoff.
Here's Richie Taylor. Ball one. You know, you're good on the odds, and I knew that I'd be right before I got out of Omaha, at least once. At least once.
I thought you were right all the time.
You thought Ron Frazier had nice socks, too, didn't you? 1-0 to Taylor. 1-1.
I'm sure Skip Bertman, as he looks at his freshman right-hander, would hope to see what he saw in Ben McDonald when Ben McDonald came into this program as a freshman and pitched right here in Omaha at the College World Series, because he has that same kind of raw talent. You start with the arm and then work on the polish in your sophomore year and hope by your junior year you're the pitcher that Ben McDonald was in the college level.
2 balls and a strike now to Taylor. Laxton just cruising along, and you assume he gets out of this inning like this, and he has a 1-hit shutout so far. From here on out, whatever he gives Skip Bertman is gravy.
And no matter what level you're pitching at, whether it's high school ball, College World Series, or professional baseball, for a pitcher, the 5th inning is always a bit of an anxious inning. You have a comfortable lead, and yet you say, I want to get 5 in and qualify for the win. It's embarrassing to have a big lead and get knocked out before the 5th. So you put a little more pressure on yourself in the 5th inning.
And Taylor is on for the 2nd time today with a base on balls.
Then if you get through that one, you'll notice that on every level how much more relaxed pitchers are in the 6th. And then they come out and they've kind of taken that deep breath. They say, okay, I got over that 5th inning anxiety. Now I feel a little better about myself.
But it sure is easy for someone who is not out on that mound to tell someone who is out on the mound to relax.
Yeah, I am relaxed.
Get out of my way. Toby Smith, a swing and a miss. This has been the inning that has been costliest for LSU. Their opponents have scored 8 runs in the 5th inning, and that's more than any other inning. Smith struck out swinging to start the 2nd, grounded out to 2nd to end a mild threat in the 4th. That's strike 2. Wichita State may yet break out of it, but you certainly can't call their hitters aggressive today.
And they're seeing a little better stuff than they've seen for a while.
0-2 pitch, and Smith goes down. You bet he does. 2 more strikeouts this inning for Laxton. He has a 1-hit shutout through his 5 innings. 7-0 LSU when we come back to Omaha.
The stars will always shine, the birds will always sing. As long as there is thirst, there's all.
1982 College World Series, Miami against Wichita State, and there's the fake. Phil Stevenson, the brother of Wichita State head coach Gene Stevenson, was victimized at first base. Everybody pretends the ball went down the right field line when in fact the pitcher was still holding it. And he's a dead duck at 2nd, and the man who was the author of that play is downstairs, Ron Frazier. That's not really fair at all, Coach. You know that?
Well, you know, I really wasn't going to try and use that. We just worked on it to put a little levity in our practice. We were scared to death of Wichita State. They had broken almost every offensive record, and we felt like, you know, we had to loosen them up a little bit, and it looked like it worked pretty good in practice, and we got a couple Oscars for it, and we decided to do it in the ball game, and you know, it just happened to work. I could have been a real fool out there by trying it, but it did work, and I think it helped us a little bit get some momentum. Try anything.
1-1, the count now to Kenny Jackson. Kenny, what kind of a mind would conceive of something like that?
A Frazier mind. I want to know how many hours they spent in practice actually going over that play. That's tougher than play practice if you're in drama class.
Well, guys, I just put on socks.
A ball and 2 strikes to Kenny Jackson.
Phil Stevenson, incidentally, brother of head coach Gene Stevenson, is in attendance today watching the Shockers.
Brandon Baird working his second inning of relief for Wichita State. Strike 3 called. And chalks up his second strikeout of the afternoon. We remind you that once we wind things down here in Omaha, we'll have live third-round coverage of the Buick Classic from Westchester, New York. Lee Jansen, Duffy Waldorf, Tom Kite, all tied for the lead at 3 under par.
Amazing how the great players, they peak for the big championships. The U.S. Open right around the corner. That's why you see Tom Kite's name up there. He's getting ready to defend.
Jason Williams, strike 1. Amazing to me how we get you off the course and here in time for the game.
Come on. I wish I was here long enough to play. We got some terrific courses here in Omaha.
What's your handicap?
No. It's my entire bag of clubs. It's making solid contact with the ball.
1-1 to Jason Williams. 1-2.
Well, we've seen Baird now throw a couple of really nice breaking balls. He struck out Todd Walker, just racked up a strikeout to lead this inning off, and this is such valuable experience. Wichita State has a habit of coming back here. They've been in the championship game every other year since '89, so as a junior you might see Brandon Baird in a more pressure-packed situation here.
Strike 3 called, and another called third strike for Brandon Baird. 2 up and 2 gone, and here's Armando Rios.
Throws the curve on the outside corner for a strikeout. Now he comes back with a well-placed fastball. So a good outing despite Wichita State being 7 runs down in the ball game. Impressive by Brandon Baird.
Rios, a ground out to short, a sacrifice fly to left, and a base hit, which got 2 teammates home. Back in the 3rd inning. Outside, 2-0.
Rios is a great example of what college baseball is to a young athlete. We make some comparisons to the pro game, but college baseball can stand on its own. And here's a player like Armando Rios that might never play professional baseball. He wasn't drafted, but the experience that he's had right here in Omaha has been such a thrill in his life. You know, he was a little disturbed a couple of years ago when they thought his home run was lucky. You know, he was known as a fielder. They thought this little guy hit a home run, it was a fluke. He's got 9 of them this year, so he showed the improvement he's made as a college player.
Hit in the air to center field. Drifting back is Taylor near the warning track now and makes the catch. 3 up and 3 down for LSU here in the 5th through 5. The Tigers out front comfortably.
Michael Jordan in Hanes briefs. Michael Jordan in new improved Hanes briefs. The new comfort of Hanes briefs. Better fit, better feel, better than ever.
Just wait until we get a Hanes on you.
Now buy 2 packages of Hanes underwear and the new video Michael Jordan Airtime and get $5 by mail.
You are here. He has the traveler's checks here. Think about that. Now think about this. American Express traveler's checks for 2. The only checks either of you can use. Don't leave home without them.
Ah, thank goodness we found you. Because we'd never forgive ourselves if we let you miss this opportunity. You can now buy an Oldsmobile Achieva Special Edition with air, automatic, anti-lock brakes, and more for only $14,695. Well, Your neighbors certainly thought it was a good deal. It's your money.
I don't need some fancy cologne to tell me I'm a man. I use Skin Bracer. It smells great, but it also cools and tones my skin. Confidence is very sexy, don't you think?
Skin Bracer Aftershave.
By Menon.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1993 College World Series Championship game is sponsored by Oldsmobile, official car for NCAA championships. AT&T, the right choice. And by Ryder Truck Rental. Ryder, we're there when you need us.
Well, the skies have cleared a little bit. We know better than to say that the threat of rain is gone completely, because you never do that in the Midwest. But the sun is out as we move to the top of the 6th inning. LSU with a 7-0 lead, and Darren Dreifort leading off for Wichita State, trying to do something about it. Dreifort with a walk and a ground out to second in his 2 appearances, and Brett Laxton goes back to work. Talking with Darren Dreifort yesterday about his pitching and hitting skills, and he says, hey, I'm going to the Dodgers to be a pitcher number 1. Ball 2. 319 hitting team during the season, and 193 here in Omaha. You know, even Gene Stevenson himself at the beginning of the week said it's not always. Dreifort, hard one, and it takes a hop past Jason Williams at third. I'm guessing that'll be a base hit.
Five errors yesterday, and it was Jason Williams' error in the 9th inning that looked like it might be costly for the Tigers. That one took a high hop and was ruled a base hit.
Here's Joey Jackson, 0 for 2. Finish the comment, I was going to say that Gene Stevenson said it's not always the best team that wins here in Omaha.
Well, and those numbers reflect the fact that when you come to Omaha, you're seeing much better pitchers than you saw during the year when they compiled that 300 average.
Jackson a little late on the swing and is now down 0-2, and down in the LSU bullpen, number 31 is Will Hunt, beginning to loosen up.
Brett Laxton entered this inning at 91 pitches, so even if he worked out of trouble here, he would be just about at the limit that Skip Berkman usually allows him to go.
0-2 pitch. Foul back. You may find a team that has just played well enough to get here, but then all of a sudden kicks it in gear, and those are the guys you have to worry about.
You see that in championships, I think, at all levels. If you looked at absolute talent, there are probably teams that are stronger. Texas A&M came in as the #1 seed with 3 outstanding pitchers. They kicked the ball around and didn't play as well as they're capable of.
Jackson cuts and misses on a pitch down and in on him. Nice pitch by Laxton, and that's out #1 of the inning, and the second time Jackson has gone down on strikes.
Still a good live fastball. You can see the movement on it, down and in as Jackson swings over it. Boy, they're stringing up the K's down there in front of the LSU cheering section.
10 of them now for Brett Laxton. Here's Casey Blake. Nice bunt at the third base line, but it'll roll foul. Nice idea for Blake. Wichita State needs base runners, and Jason Williams was deep behind the bag at third. Williams hasn't
let him bunt. Let him bunt. We'll give up you there. That bunt hit. We'll stay back and try to turn double play on the ground ball.
0-1 pitch. 1-1. For the season, Brett Laxton has never struck out more than 10 hitters in a game. He has matched that here this afternoon in 5 1/3 innings. And 2. And Wichita State has taken a lot of called strikes today.
I think their approach being down 7, and maybe in the entire game, was that the question mark on Laxton in a pressure game like this. Could he throw strikes? So they're trying to be patient, work him into deep counts, but he's taken advantage of the lead and challenging the hitters.
1-2 pitch, strike 3 called on the inside corner. 11 strikeouts for Laxton. We had a chance to talk with LSU head coach Skip Bertman, and he told us about his young freshman pitcher.
This guy has pitched in national championship competition for American Legion World Series twice. He was in Fargo, North Dakota for the finals last year, and he won the year before. He is not likely to be nervous.
Tommy Tilma with a base hit to center field, the 3rd hit off of Laxton, the 2nd this inning. So Wichita State again with 2 runners aboard in an inning, and I believe Adam McCullough has been called back to the Wichita State dugout. And Gene Stevenson will go with a pinch hitter here.
Probably give everyone a little taste of College World Series competition. You look at Laxton's numbers and Skip's comment about he's not apt to be nervous. I think that's one thing that college baseball and competition does for players, as well as helping you mature as an all-around person. Is if we brought up Freddie Lynn's name, and he's played in World Series competition, and he'll look back on the college experience, say, hey, I played in big games before. I know the pressure of playing in a College World Series or a Pac-10 conference final, the kind of competition that these players come out of. So they're used to handling these situations, even though they're only 18 or 19 years old.
John Llewellyn is the pinch hitter for Wichita State. He will bat for catcher Adam McCullough. Llewellyn, a 193 hitter on the season, and 0 for 1 here in Omaha. And first pitch swinging, fouls it off. Wichita State had 2 runners in the 2nd, 2 more in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and 2 here in the 6th. They're still looking at goose eggs on the scoreboard. 0-1 pitch. Strike 1. Oh, strike 2 rather. Laxton has been impressive with the bases empty and with runners on base. Has been the epitome. Talk about a pitcher that goes after the hitters. He's done that.
You can tell the raw talent is there, just a freshman, but I love his approach, the way he goes after hitters.
This one fouled past first.
You would expect a freshman in a championship game maybe to walk around the mound a little bit, be a little tentative, as we've actually seen Wichita State be today. But Laxton is, he's eager to get right back on the rubber, get the sign, and let me go ahead and win this championship.
1-2 pitch to Llewellyn. Up high, 2-2. Adrian Antonini sending the signs out. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out here in the 6th inning. Pretty good at bat by John Llewellyn, who's been sitting on the bench all day long and just gets a chance to swing for the first time today.
We saw it happen a week ago. Sean Tyler of the Arizona State team had no home runs, and he hit that dramatic home run in the 9th inning, and Gene Stevenson thinking that Llewellyn has enough power to do the same thing here and get them back in it.
Strike 3 called. Laxton strikes out the side. Wichita State strands 2 more. Will go to the last of the 6th. 7-0 LSU.
So what do you want from the 90s? Well, the Oldsmobile Achieva Special Edition can't give you that. But it does have air, automatic, anti-lock brakes, cruise, tilt, power windows and locks, and more. And it costs only $14,695, which could leave you feeling very good about yourself. It's your money.
Okay, Dan, I'll show you to your truck.
Do our new computerized reservations make renting from Ryder faster than ever?
What's that name again? Dave! Dave! Dave!
Dave. No contest. Call 1-800-GO-RYDER.
Welcome back to Omaha, where LSU will hit in the last of the 6th inning, leading 7-0, and a new catcher in the ball game for Wichita State. Adam McCullough was pinch hit for in the top half of this inning, and Darren Wheeler has come on to catch for Gene Stevenson. And Brandon Baird starts his 3rd inning of work, and he will face the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for LSU: Russ Johnson, Todd Walker, and Harry Berrios. A threesome that has accounted for 5 hits. Wichita State has left 9 runners aboard against freshman Brett Laxton today. LSU has left 7 aboard, but that's after a couple of them have come dancing across the plate.
Yeah, Laxton talked about batting averages with men on base. What Wichita State had done before today, his pitches with men on. That's where he really takes it up another notch.
2 balls and a strike now on Russ Johnson. Johnson walked in the 1st, singled in the 2nd, went down looking at a called 3rd strike in the 3rd. Ball tipped at the plate. The count is even at 2-2.
See him fall across the plate on that swing. What the dugout's got to be real loose right now for LSU. So amongst the hitters, you kid one another. I'm going to hit one out before you do. You're up there freewheeling behind an account. You can't blame him. So I'm going to dig in, take a swing. I want to get a home run in the College World Series.
Two pitch. Ball 3. LSU with another runner aboard to start the 6th inning. 2nd time Johnson has walked today, and the 6th time that LSU has coaxed a base on balls out of a Wichita pitcher. Johnson 67 bases on balls this year to lead LSU.
That's probably why Todd Walker had 99 RBIs coming into today's game.
Here is Walker with a homer and a single and 3 trips to the plate. 2-run homer in the 1st and an RBI single in the 3-run 2nd. Breaking ball fouled past first. He said just prior to his game-winning hit against Long Beach yesterday afternoon that He had never had a feeling like he had when he walked up to the plate. He said, I just knew we were going to win this game.
It's a big day for him because he came in as the leading hitter, and he had not hit well up until yesterday. He got 4 knocks in yesterday's game, including that home run. And that happens with a lot of outstanding hitters at all levels. Once they break through and get that one to start a game, look out. And he got 4 of them yesterday.
"11 game-winning hits this season for Todd Walker." Oh, and 2. And again, you had an instance of a hitter swinging through a pitch and falling across the plate.
They want to put just a little bit extra on that swing right now with the comfortable lead.
0-2 pitch. Line foul past first.
Crowd is probably sitting here at Rosenblatt, many that have been here for all of the sessions, saying, well, when's the action going to start? We see it so often in tournaments of all types of sports where the anticipation of the championship game, because you've had so many great ones leading up to it, and then oftentimes it's just kind of a casual sit back and watch as you are today. They have had a lot of those late inning comeback wins. LSU was down 7-2 to Texas A&M, the #1 seed. They won that one 13-8. And of course, they're down yesterday going into their last at bat, and they come up with 3 and win.
Wichita State was down 6-1 in the 5th inning to Texas and came back. There goes the runner up high and outside. Wheeler's throw not in time. Give Johnson the stolen base. That's number 19 of the year for Russ Johnson.
That's a slide that base stealers have worked on. If they use the head first slide, and you watch how he slides past the bag, but yet he will keep the left foot as he slides back head first. He'll make sure he hooks that bag with the left foot so he gets maximum speed and still doesn't lose contact with the base.
A ball and 2 strikes to Todd Walker. Got him swinging. Second straight time Walker has gone down on strikes.
A little building block for the freshman lefty. So, yeah, my team's not faring too well today, but I struck out an All-American twice. Once with a curve, and there with a pretty good fastball.
4 strikeouts for Baird. And here's Berrios. A couple of singles with a strikeout in between. The throw back to second and almost thrown into center field.
Yeah, just in case they catch Johnson off a little far. Not apt to happen in games like this. 1-1 games, a little different.
There goes the runner. Line towards second. Jackson has it, and this will be a double play. Nice job at second base by Joey Jackson. And we'll return to Rosenblatt Stadium after this message and a word from your local station.
Ah, thank goodness.
Sunday at 10:35.
To the top of the 7th inning now here in Omaha, Nebraska. The College World Series Championship game. LSU leading Wichita State 7-0. And freshman Brett Laxton working on a 3-hit shutout. The Shockers hoping he'll hit some kind of a wall here in the 7th. But Jason Williams short hops the grounder at 3rd. And out number 1. That's leadoff man Carl Hall. Skip Bertman knowing that wall could be coming soon for Brett Laxton and his bullpen going.
But he has done everything you could ask of a freshman in a championship game situation. Even though he's walked a few hitters, he's made the big pitches with men on, and early in the innings like he did there, he's forcing Wichita State now because he proved he can throw strikes, make them go after the pitches early.
Jason Adams, grounder between first and second, takes a hop on Toby, or rather on first baseman Kenny Jackson. And that's out into right field.
Not a surprise. We've talked about LSU's deficiencies in the field, and they know they're not a particularly good defensive ball club. That's a play that I'm sure Kenny Jackson feels he should have made.
Give Kenny Jackson an error over at first, the second of the day on LSU. And here's Richie Taylor. LSU's 11th error of this College World Series. 5 yesterday, 2 today. Fouled off. Wichita State's 3, 4, and 5 hitters today: Richie Taylor, Toby Smith, Darren Dreifert. 7 for 41 here in Omaha. Today, of the 3, Dreifert has the only hit. There goes the runner. Fouled away, 0-2. Well, LSU wasn't holding Jason Adams on at first base, so
let him go. Maybe they'd hit into a line drive. I was surprised to see Skip Bertman start his runners. He's done it 2 innings in a row with a 7-0 lead. The last one ended up into a line drive double play. Usually with a comfortable lead and you start running, you get the players in the other team a little angered, and you say, they're trying to rub it in a little bit, so you tend to get a little more conservative. But LSU's continue to run.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, I got you, Deke.
Adams at first on an error. 1 out. And Wichita State's heavy hitters up this inning. And you'd have to guess due to break out. Strike 3 called. Another strikeout for Brett Laxton. 2 down now, and here's Toby Smith. And let's go down to Coach Ron Frazier. Ron, I'd like to know, with a big lead at this stage of the game, what's the biggest problem for a coach with his team well out in front, as Skip Bertman has his Tigers right now?
Well, you got to be real careful that you don't lose momentum, and I think that's what's happening here. And I think Skip wants to get it back on track again, and he's starting to move some runners, and I think that you'll see him trying to score some runs in these next few innings. It's not a question of course, running it up on somebody. It's just that they don't want to lose that momentum and go into late in the ball game, kind of, with maybe Wichita State getting something going and scoring some runs.
A sense of complacency and security would be your worst enemy at this time of the day.
There's their momentum right out there in the mound with number 27 on his back. That'll stop any kind of momentum from the other team. But I can see Ron's point on the college level, where you don't have maybe an #1 closer to come out of the bullpen. You want to try to take advantage of opportunities you have to tack on some additional runs.
A ball and a strike to Smith. That's up high, 2-1. Nice place to sit and watch a College World Series game.
Every year you come back, they make more and more improvements at Rosenblatt Stadium.
Some seats due to be added by this time next year out in the right center field area. Smith takes ball 3. You see the attitude and the way they feel over in the Wichita State dugout. Most everyone's seated, but over on the LSU side of the field, they're up on their feet and cheering Brett Laxton's effort here today. 3-1 pitch. 3-2.
Well, there's only one team that leaves Omaha on a high note from having won their last game. Every other team, we saw it in Long Beach State yesterday, the depression and the tough, heartbreaking loss. But just to get here, these programs have all had very successful years just to get through the regional and get to Omaha. But you can understand the despair losing a championship game.
3-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Another strikeout for Brett Laxton, who just rules the roost here this afternoon in Omaha. We'll go to the last of the 7th. LSU leading at 7-0.
Have you ever borrowed a book from thousands of miles away?
Back at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, Leslie Visser comes along on these trips. You never know where she's going to end up.
One of the great traditions of the College World Series is Zesto's ice cream stand, which has been here right outside of Rosenblatt Stadium for 43 years, and they're famous for their hot fudge milkshakes. Well, Americans consumed 800 million gallons of ice cream last year. I bet you might have had a couple of scoops, and none of it was better than the stuff they sell here at Zesto's. Greg Gumbel and Jim Cott, I know this is your idea of a Happy Meal.
We do take part every once in a while. What flavor is yours?
This is banana.
And mine is mayonnaise.
Yeah, she's right about that. If you vegetarian. Yeah, but if you come to Omaha and come to the College World Series, you have to make a stop over there. That's part of the tradition also.
Well, part of our tradition. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Mike Neal, Jim Greeley, Adrian Antonini for LSU. The Tigers lead it 7-0. That's called strike 1-1. Brandon Baird has done an outstanding job since coming on in relief for the Tigers back in the 4th inning.
I'm trying to think of how long it's been since I've seen this impressive a performance in a championship game by a freshman. Wichita State won in '89 with Greg Brummett, who's now in the big leagues. And he was not a freshman. And of course, LSU has produced some good pitchers, Chad Auger and Paul Bird, both on some great teams for LSU. But very seldom has a team come in here and sent a freshman to the mound and have him put on a dominating performance. I mean, this is like going back to the days of Greg Swindell at Texas when he was a freshman.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count to Mike Neal, and that's ball 3. Boy, you want to talk about just how impressive Brett Laxton has been. 14 strikeouts today. That is the 2nd most strikeouts. The College World Series record is 15. Tom Burgess did it for Arizona State back in 1967. This one hit down the left field line. Tilma on the run is there and makes the catch. An LSU school record is 16. Mark Guthrie struck out 16 for LSU back in 1984, so it's quite a performance by the freshman.
We've had a chance to see his father in attendance here, his parents actually. His father, Bill, was a big league pitcher who won 3 games in a brief career, 5 or 6 years, and he's got to be looking out at his son and saying, boy, he's going to carve out more of a big league career than I had. Bill Laxton was a left-hander.
That was Armando Rios in the dugout.
Saying hi to his neighbors in Carolina, Puerto Rico.
Liner up the middle. Jackson back of second from his knees. Got him. Boy, Joey Jackson has played some second base for Wichita State.
And that's the reason Gene Stevenson has had a couple of little meetings during the game. His team has not played well, uncharacteristic of a Wichita State team. But he said, let's keep paying attention and play the way we were taught. And this is an example of it. Jackson hustles over from his knees and a nice accurate toss.
2 up and 2 gone, and here's Antonini. What an adventurous day Mr. Antonini has had. Walked in the 2nd, hit by a pitch in the 3rd, grounded out to 3rd in the 4th. And this one down to 3rd. Blake. And just like that, LSU is disposed of here in the 7th. 2 shots left for the Shockers at Brett Laxton. We'll be back to Omaha in a moment.
Yeah, I looked at the BMW and the Lexus. And? I drove this. The power, the handling, the control. It was incredible. Really? It's got leather, ABS, dual airbags. It's even supercharged. I could have spent a lot more on the BMW or the Lexus. But why? What is this? The new Bonneville SSEI.
We are driving
Very nice.
Ben and Connie Studebaker look at things differently since they became parents. I'm Roger Cool. I'm their State Farm agent. Having a family brought a lot of changes in their lives, so we thought it was a good idea to sit down and have a family insurance checkup. We started by adding to their life insurance protection. Then we went over all their family insurance to help make sure their coverage was up to date. After all, you never know what could happen.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You are here. He has the traveler's checks here. What can you do? Well, do this. Carry American Express traveler's checks for 2. The only checks either of you can use. Don't leave home.
Don't blame Desonex.
Back in Omaha for the top of the 8th inning, and let's check in once again with Ron Frazier. Coach?
Well, you know, Laxton has never gone and pitched more than 7 innings. This is the first time he's going into the 8th inning all year. He's got 123 pitches. Skip said at 110 he probably would be out of there, but he's dominating this game, so they're going on with it.
All right, Coach, thanks very much.
But he is keeping the bullpen ready, and there's a difference between allowing a pitcher, in this case, who's dominating a game, to keep on going and allowing a pitcher who it's obvious is not on his game to just stay out there and throw pitch after pitch.
Top of the 8th inning, here is Darren Dreifert. Dreifert 1 for 2 with a walk. And strike 1. Laxton comes out throwing strikes. The largest crowd ever to see a College World Series championship game in attendance today, 20,286. Strike 2 to Dreifert.
I'm not sure, but I think in the 4 years that we've done this game, we've said that every year.
Yes.
Right? Every year we set a new record for attendance.
And a new record for the entire series, 173,296. Congratulations once again to the folks here in Omaha who do an outstanding job hosting this event. 0-2 pitch to Dreifert. A ball and 2 strikes.
There was some talk a few years ago about maybe some big league cities interested in getting the College World Series away from Omaha, but can you imagine putting 20,000 people in, say, a dome stadium that can hold 50, what it would do to decrease the atmosphere from Johnny Rosenblatt Stadium?
There is strikeout number 15 for Brett Laxton this afternoon.
Skip Bertman saying just go on with it. Sometimes you're going to get that first 9-inning complete game. Maybe it's today. I mean, there's no sign of laboring of Brett Laxton. He's feeding, I think, off the emotion of this championship game. And
add Mr. Laxton to that championship game record. 15 strikeouts. He and Burgess are now tied for the most in a College World Series championship game.
It's one thing to say, the scouts will say, yeah, he's got a 92-mile-an-hour fastball in the first inning, and then when you get to the 7th or 8th, maybe it's tailed off to 86 or 87.
Into right field, Carl, or rather right fielder for LSU, Harry Berrios, is there for the catch.
But in Brett Laxton's case, as Skip Bertman pointed out, he'll throw 92 in the first inning, and he'll throw 92 the last inning he's out there, and he's proven that. He has not lost anything off that fastball.
Here's Casey Blake. On the first pitch, down to second, Walker over to first, and another 1-2-3 inning for Brett Laxton. We'll go to the last of the 8th. LSU almost in cruise control now.
Ow! Oh, Rex, go get me the vice grip pliers.
Rex! Get lost! Rex! Rex, yeah.
Back in Rosenblatt Stadium, where LSU was in a familiar role challenging for the national championship. Back in 1991, when the Tigers won the title, Coach Skip Bertman used as his slogan, slogan, "Hold the Rope." And early this morning, he came out and he scratched out the slogan and he hung it in the dugout. Now, what he means by this is that if you're hanging over the edge of a cliff, you want your teammates, your family holding the rope, securing your safety, ensuring your safety. And Greg, I think that I wouldn't mind you and Ron and Jim, but I wouldn't mind if we also had Sylvester Stallone.
Hey, come on. We can hold that rope for you, Leslie.
No faith. Visser has no faith. There's a shot to center field by Kenny Jackson to the wall and over the head of Richie Taylor. Jackson on his way to second and in standing with a double. That's the first hit for LSU since Harry Berrios singled with 1 out in the 4th.
Everybody wants a little piece of being a part of the winning the championship game, and Kenny Jackson rips this to the deepest part of the ballpark, and as soon as he got to second base, his teammates on the top step of the dugout were all acknowledging, you know, now you're part of the action too. You got your knock, got a little spot in the box score.
Here's leadoff hitter Jason Williams, squared around the bunt and brought everybody charging in and took it outside and high for ball 1. Last time there was a shutout in the championship game of the College World Series, Arizona State beat Southern Cal 1-0 in 1972. Southern Cal won it 1-0. There's the bunt. Baird will throw to first, and on the play, Jackson moves to third. Jason Williams getting congratulated on the sacrifice, and here's Armando Rios. Everyone in the Louisiana State lineup has at least 1 hit, with the exception of catcher Adrian Antonini. And you might say he also has a hit. He took one on the shoulder back in the 3rd inning. Here's Rios. A hit in the 3rd and 2 runs batted in. In the air, left center field. Taylor will make the catch, and that gets the runner home from 3rd, and LSU ups his lead now to 8-0. What a greeting Kenny Jackson gets, huh? So the bases are empty now with 2 out, and here is Russ Johnson. It is an entirely different atmosphere over in the Wichita State dugout. Called strike. Short center field. Taylor is there. LSU puts 1 on the board, and Brett Laxton comes out to try to put the cap on a 3-hit shutout, leading 8-0.
Want to break a European's heart? Let him test drive a Buick Park Avenue Ultra for 2 weeks, then take it away. You see, the Ultra, with its supercharged engine, luxury appointments, and Buick quality, is built in such limited quantities, it's just not available in Europe yet. Want to break a European's heart? Let him drive an Ultra, then take it away.
I got a new taste that's pure delight. New Brinker sour cream and onion light. That's right. Rich sour cream and...
As we go to the 9th, we have been privileged to witness just an outstanding performance by freshman right-hander Brett Laxton of LSU. He has allowed Wichita State no runs on just 3 hits, while the Tigers have posted 2 runs in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, and another one for good measure in the 8th inning, and lead it 8-0 as we move to the 9th.
Not bad for a pitcher who his only complete games during the year were 7-inning games, and his own coach said, "Nah, I can't expect much more than 6 innings and 110 pitches." He has thrown with very little effort and thrown hard the whole game.
Tommy Tillman playing his last game for Wichita State is one of Laxton's 15 strikeout victims. He has also walked and singled. To left center field. Greeley with the catch, and then has to hold off Rios.
I think Armando made the right decision on that play right there, running into Greeley. You can see the difference in their size, and Greeley, see the lips move. He's calling it all the way.
Hello, teammate. Tony Mills is the pinch hitter now for Darren Wheeler. Wills, a .264 hitter on the season. It would take a complete and total loss of stuff for Skip Bertman to remove this young man now. And the LSU fans are beginning to make themselves heard. And he is still throwing hard.
Well, when you're a power pitcher, you feed off that kind of emotion. Now, if you're a crafty pitcher and you don't depend on a live fastball, then you don't want to get pumped up. You want to stay within your game. But Laxton has used this to his advantage. He just keeps getting more aggressive and throws harder.
Strike 2. Fred Laxton's dad looking on, and he gets this one high and away, 2-2. It's amazing how just 24 hours ago Skip Bertman was sweating through a ball game.
They had 2 outs to go and 1 man on, down 2 runs yesterday before it fell apart for Long Beach State, or Dave Snow's team would have been here on championship day.
136 pitches now for Brett Laxton. Strike 3 call. Here you see the owner of the new record for strikeouts in the College World Series championship game.
And in these days of very few complete games and the emphasis on the bullpen, that might stand up for a long, long time.
Carl Hall. Ball 1 inside. The LSU dugout is primed for a charge. Now. Everyone, by the way, has come down from that LSU bullpen. The dugout is filled to capacity.
They all want to be a part of the pile, and Skip Bertman is saying, I just hope no one gets hurt. That's what a coach fears after the last out is made of a championship game.
2-0 pitch. Line foul down the third base line.
Well, you can talk about the strikeout records and the stats that we've kicked around, but to an athlete at all levels, there is no feeling like wearing a championship ring, and that's what these guys are after. They've got 1 out to go to get it.
Talk about deja vu. 2 years ago, LSU knocked off Wichita State for the College World Series championship. 2-1 pitch. Ball 3. A couple of the guys in the LSU dugout are taking a running start.
We're going to be off the over the foul line before home plate umpire Jim Garman makes the call if it's a 3rd strike.
And now the count is full. To right field. Barrios making the call, and LSU has won it. Skip Bertman's LSU Tigers finished this most successful season 53-17-1. Final moments for Brett Laxton. It's celebration time.
And briefly, you saw that shot of Darren Dreifert, a most successful individual player in the college level, but he's never been able to enjoy a celebration like this.
Wichita State, a tremendous season. They finished 58-17. Skip Bertman going to finally join the party, but no party for him. We'll be back.
You are here. He has the traveler's checks here. There's got to be a better way. Here's one now. American Express traveler's checks for two. The only checks either of you can use.